Okay, so now what we've done is we've finished our project. So this is all ready to go into our main track screen. So what we do now is we want to open that main track screen, which normally you'll just come up here, File, Open Recent, and it will be in here because it's probably the last thing that you used before you started making this new project. In this case, this is my own computer. And I don't actually even keep those screens on my computer because they are such big files, but I've got it on an external hard drive here, so I'm just going to do it this way. So what I want to do here is I want to not close it, so I want to keep that one open as well. Hopefully this will work. Feeding it off my hard drive. And just going to go and open that up. Everything happens a little bit slower when you're recording a video at the same time as having Logic working, so just bear with me. So here is our main project screen. So that's, well, this is actually an older version. This is from back in July, but that's all good. It's got most of them. So here we have all our songs that are all staggered. Obviously we can't have more than one playing at once. And we have a key command set up for full stop to play from selection or whatever it is. So when I hit the full stop key, it will go ahead and create fades because that's what Logic likes to do. Yeah, so it's because I've just opened this off my hard drive. So anyway, normally you hit full stop and the track starts playing, which is a lot better than doing this, but give it a minute. So just while that's doing that, so what we run is a PreSonus Fire Studio, which is it's like a preamp that we run from the computer. It runs through FireWire cable, and so we have that as our output. We use it for recording as well, but and when we're working with tracks like this, we're using that as an output, which works as a preamp before the tracks go into DIs and that sort of thing. But the other thing it does, once the computer catches up, is allows us to run stereo tracks. So we have a left and right for our tracks, and then our click and our guide go out output 3 and 4. So we've actually used universal control to hijack the headphone output and call it output 3 and 4, and then that's where our click gets sent to and our guide, and then that is fed obviously through a separate DI back to the desk, where it can then be fed as an auxiliary or a foldback type feed, but obviously not into foldbacks because not everyone wants to hear the click. All the musos are on in-ear monitors. But I mean, you can do it with there's simpler ways of running tracks. I'll do videos about simpler ways where you can just send click to your drummer, which, yeah, just as long as he's on headphones. Cool, so we've got all these, and all the drummer does is he picks whatever song he wants, or he uses the arrow key, and he can, if you're setting up a set list, you can actually just drag whichever songs you want to whichever order you want, and because these are all staggered out here, they can still never play at the same time. We keep them all in alphabetical order, so if they do get saved in the wrong place, then it's easy to find where they're meant to be, to keep it all nice and tidy. But all they do at the end of the service, so then they'd all be in order, so they play the first song, and then when that song's finished they hit spacebar if they need to stop, or if they're going straight into the next song, they just go down arrow full stop for the next one. Cool. So it's actually quite a good habit as well, even to hit full stop down arrow. So then it's all ready for the next one straight away. But you got to remember to, after that one's finished, hit spacebar to stop it, because sometimes drummers forget that, and eventually, so we've got a bit of a gap here, but eventually probably right when it reaches an awkward moment in your service, like when the musos have left the stage and there's no one there to stop it, then the next track will start playing. Yeah, so if the musos are still on stage, the drummer's still there, he'll hear the click first and he'll be there to stop it. But if they've left the stage and the tracks are still running, then yeah, you end up with this random track, which is awkward for whoever's cheering or speaking and everyone else. Cool. So these are all folders. So each one of these I can open up, double click on it, opens up the folder, and that's all the stems for that track. So these aren't set up quite the way, or are they? Yes, they are. No, sorry, lie, they are. They've got hyperdraw on them, which we're going to do now. So this little bendy arrow thing, leave folder, that's what we want. Took me ages to work that out, how to get out of those folders once you're in there. So anyway, what we've got here is we've got a bunch of tracks here. You can see these ones are named guide and click, because those are the two that are sent to different output. So they're set to output 3 and 4. So you'll remember, well, you might see, when we did this, I put guide and click. So that lines up, guide and click. Cool. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to overlap these projects like this. I'm going to go bang, select all of those, and I'm going to just drop them in there, and I'm going to line those up. Guide and click. Doesn't really matter where I drop them in there at this point in time. Cool, so those are all now in my project. They're all highlighted now. If they weren't highlighted, then I just select them again, because the next step I want to do, like I just did then, cool, select them all. I want to control click, so control left click of the mouse, which is equal to a right click on a normal computer. On Mac you hold control and then click the mouse, that gives you your right click options. One we want there is pack folder. And just on this too, you don't want to have this channel strip selected up here somewhere, or it won't go into the right place. So just make sure you've got that top one there selected. Select all those, right click, cool, and now see I've got a folder, and if I double click on that I can then name it, which is going to be, I'll just call it endless because I've already got endless praise on this project. Cool, so then I've got that, that's all good. Actually what I should have done, I'll just reverse that. I remember how. Down here, folder, unpack folder to existing tracks. Cool, so that's just the reverse of what I just did. So sorry, when I had it selected, what I should have also done is added the hyperdraw at that point, because it's easier. You can do it later, you can go and open up the folder and then do it then, it's all good. So I want view, hyperdraw, and I want volume. Cool. And then what I want to do is that will give me these lines on here, which I want to select. So see there's a line running through there. I want to click on that. So I want to click fairly near the start at 0 dB, and see that one didn't land on 0 dB, so I then need to move that to 0 dB. Just get rid of the dot. So this is again, you can hold your control key to get finer increments. Where did that end up? Or you can make it bigger so you can see what's actually happening. It's doing something funny. listen. So that's jumping around. Audio 2. Yeah, see, there's the problem. So all these should be zeroed. And what's happened with this project is somebody has decided to turn something up and done it the wrong way. So we don't actually use these to turn them up. That's what we're going to use the hyperdraw for. So these are the ones that you normally have in your inspector down the side there. That just isn't open at the moment. That one there. So you know, if I want to turn this one up and I turn it up there, that's what that's going to do. Is it's going to turn up every single track that is on audio 4. So that means every single song that we do, every fourth stem down is going to end up at whatever adjustment that mixer has been made. Here we go, 0 dB. Cool. So that line before you start should be set at 0. That's why I was having issues, was because that was out. So you just go through. You just want this dot at the start because it apparently doesn't really work without it. Cool. So you've got all those lines now. So now, if I'm doing this track and I want to turn up the backing vocals here, now what I do is I drag that line up. Cool. And that's how I'm going to change volumes on things, which I will explain in a second when I get that back. Cool. So that is now all done, and I can then pack that folder. So control click, pack folder, there we go, there's my folder. You can see that's what happens, it lands in a funny place. If you don't have the right channel strip selected, and what was it, endless. Cool. So, and then I just move that folder up to where it will be in alphabetical order, and I better plug the computer in before it dies. There we go. Cool. So yeah, so now you have that there. Okay, so now that's in a random place, and if I did that, I've got two things playing at once, which of course we can't have. So I'm going to drag that along. The other thing I'm going to do is, I haven't done this for a while, I have to find it again. Yeah, that's what I want, region. So name regions by tracks channel strips. That's the one I want, in the region there. So then it names that the same name as that. Cool. So just so it makes more sense when you're looking at the other end of it rather than them all saying guide. Oh, that's our new house that we're going to build. Just is open on another page and then it jumps across, which is really annoying. Go back, go back. There we go. If you get stuck, if you're on a MacBook Pro and you get stuck with that, that's why I was doing it, because each of the screens not me. And you get stuck with that 4 fingers swipe to the left or the right, changes the complete screen like that. 4 fingers on the trackpad. Cool, and then I just drag that along to where it's in order, which would fit in there. Bang. I can make it a pretty colour, which just kind of makes it stand out more, separates it from the others. And then what I need to do, because then again I've got those two playing at the same time, I need to obviously shift everything along. So just make a big box. Obviously the smaller it is when you do this, the bigger, the quicker it's going to work. And I'll just go select everything. That's all of it. So everything downward of the track I've just put in is selected, and then I just shift it across. Bang, no, far. Bang, done. Cool. So then if I want to turn something up and down, so like you can't see it when it's like that, you've got to make it bigger, but then I've got all my volume controls there. So what I was talking about before with that Audio 4 problem, so see here, Audio 4 is that alto. Cool. If I go to that one, oh, that won't have that many audios in it actually. What about this one? Audio 4 there is a guitar. Cool. So if I turn up Audio 4, and in that other one it turns up the alto, and this one it turns up the guitar. And that's all because down here we're bringing the files into the same audio tracks. And the reason that we're doing that is so that we're not using hundreds and hundreds of separate audio tracks, which is what we used to do before Pastor Wayne corrected me on that one. But yeah, a lot of this stuff was just working it out as we went, and yeah, that was a really good learning point, which has saved heaps of space on the computers just by bringing all these into the same channel strips, which you can do because nothing is playing at the same time, because they're all staggered, because you don't want them playing at the same time anyway. They can all be on the same channel strip. Cool, so that's it. That is now in my project, and then you just hit save. You'd save that into your project. Just be aware that sometimes when you do that, when you do new tracks, sometimes that save will take longer because it will do a bigger version of the save with the new tracks in there than just your normal one that goes straight through. Just allow a bit of time for that. You don't want to be loading tracks 5 minutes before the service in case it decides to save the world, and then it doesn't work. Or you do what we do when you're desperate and you force it to shut down and restart it and forget about what you just did, if you absolutely drastically have to and it's in the middle of that. Not that I would suggest that under normal circumstances. Don't do that. Don't do that. But you have those times where things go horribly wrong, and you have to take drastic action. So that's all good. So that's done. Simple way. So yeah, you put the project together, bring it across, and then it's just that chucking the hyperdraw on, and chucking it in a folder. Done. Yeah. So because these are preset to 3 and 4. Even though in my other project I didn't set them to 3 and 4, now that I've bought them, now they're running off these channel strips and they automatically go there. So I don't have to have the firebox plugged in to select that, because these have already been made when that was plugged in. It's all good, all done. So once you plug that back in and you come and select it under your preferences, which it's not there at the moment because it's not plugged in. And then select it, apply changes, then it'll work, all good. Sometimes it doesn't show up when you plug it back in, and sometimes you actually have to shut Logic down and restart it with the thing plugged in, so it will show up. Which I think that's a pretty Sony's thing, that they just a bit poxy like that. But yeah, all good. So that's it. That's all there is to it, really.